How many session tracking methods are there? 4. What is first one? Cookies. Second one, URL rewriting. Third one, HTTP sessions. Fourth one, hidden form fields. You studied 2 session tracking methods, cookies and URL rewriting. Once you see the execution, so cookies, URL rewriting. In cookies, client state information stored in browser memory. In URL rewriting, client state information appended to URL. You observe, cookie program I'll run. You observe, right click, run as, run on server. Say books.html. Suppose I'll select the books. When I click submit button, here selected books displayed in address bar. Selected books displayed in address bar. Now, why it is displayed here in address bar? HTTP method get I used. Get. That is the reason displayed. But when I click on next button, these books are retrieved from which, these books are retrieved, these 2 books. But these books are where it is stored? Browser memory. Because not there here you observe. Okay? These books are, whatever we selected books, those books are stored in browser memory. From browser memory retrieved. Okay? Suppose if I run URL from URL rewriting books.html, suppose I'll select the books. If I click submit button, say this is get method with the get method displayed. If I click next, these books, where are these books? Is it stored in browser memory now? No. Here only we have. URL, from URL it will come. This is URL rewriting. That's what it is displayed in the URL address bar. Okay? Whatever you selected books are displayed here. So this is URL rewriting. But HTML to set URL, that is HTTP method get. But this is URL rewriting. That is different. This is different. Okay? Now set Sowlet to get Sowlet. Set Sowlet to get Sowlet. First program what you did, your cookies. It is stored in browser memory. It is retrieved from browser memory. Like this you have seen. And next program, this URL writing, it is added to URL. From URL only it will retrieve. This is second mechanism. Now, cookies versus URL rewriting. Note. Cookies versus URL rewriting. One side cookies, one side URL rewriting. Cookies versus URL rewriting. Cookies versus URL rewriting. Note down. First, in this session tracking method, client state information stored in browser memory at client side. In this session tracking method, client state information stored in browser memory at client side. In this session tracking method, client state information stored in browser memory at client side. Here, in this session tracking method, client state information appended to URL. In this session tracking method, client state information appended to URL. In this session tracking method, client state information appended to URL. In this session tracking method, client state information stored in browser memory at client side. In this session tracking method, client state information appended to URL. Here what will be happen? It will be stored in browser memory. From browser it is retrieved. So you observe. That's the reason execution time you observe. Right click, run as, run on server. Here. Books.html. Whatever you select here, it is displayed in address bar. This is not URL rewriting technique. HTTP method get. HTTP method get, that is. With this get technique, it is displayed. HTTP method get. Next you observe. If I click on next, are you getting in address bar? No. Now, but from where it is retrieved this data? Browser memory. So, with set cookie servlet, it is stored in browser memory. With get cookie servlet, it is retrieved from browser memory. So data stored in browser memory. Okay. Here not displayed in address bar, you observe. But that program if I execute, URL reading. Run as, run on server. Here, books.html. Now, next, see, from address bar. But suppose here one more next hyperlink is there. When I click, this is vanished, but that will be there. That is stored in browser memory. But this is not stored in browser, just appended to URL. When you click next page, it is vanished. Again, if you append, then only it is passed. It is just appended to URL that is displayed in address bar. Okay. It is not stored. That is stored. Even for that time interval we can set 2 days also we can maintain. but for this one not possible. Now for this one time interval is not possible. For that one time interval possible. That is already stored in browser memory, but whenever you click close button vanished. But this is whenever you visit next page it is vanished. Okay, whenever you visit next page it is vanished. It is not stored, just appended to URL, it is appearing. When I visit next page it is vanished. So that is different, this is different. That is until you close the browser it will be maintained in browser memory. But this is when you click on next page vanished. For that 2 days also if you want to store you can, because set max age method is there. With that we can save. 2 days also we can save, but this one not possible. Okay. Now this is first difference. In this session tracking method, client state information stored in browser memory at client side. In this session tracking method, client state information appended to URL. Here stored in browser memory, here appended to URL. Here different, here different. Now, here client state information not displayed. Here client state information displayed in address bar. Here client state information not displayed. Here client state information displayed in address bar. Here client state information not displayed. Here client state information displayed in address bar. You observe here client state information not displayed. Here client state information displayed in address bar. You observe, suppose login program is there. This is you studied already. Homepage.html, login, username AAA, password AAA, submit. You are getting welcome null. Okay. Why we are getting null in this program? It is redirecting. In redirecting, data will not come. Now I want to bring the data. Username, password I want to bring with cookies. Possible or not? Possible or not? Possible. With URL rating. Possible or not? Possible. With cookies we can bring. With URL rating you can bring. Cookies if you store, it is stored. Suppose username, password I'll add to cookie. But I'll display only your username. Password I'll not display. Then we cannot see. It doesn't display. Suppose if I write URL rating, it will be displayed in address bar. That's the difference. If I use session tracking method cookies, I'll bring username, I'll bring password. But what I'll do, both are I'll add to cookie. I'll display here only username. Password I won't display. Then it will not display. But URL writing, username, password I'll append. Here username only I'll display. But password displayed in address bar. Even if it don't display here also they are displayed. That will be happen. Because here you have seen output in URL rating. Here all are displayed. Say here all are displayed. So like that, if I append username password with URL reading, password displayed in address, even if it don't display here also, they're displayed. Suppose you want to display only username, you want to hide password, but with this session tracking method not possible. Even if you don't display here, they're displayed. Okay, that is a difference. So here client state information not displayed. If you display yourself, it will displayed. Otherwise not displayed. But here, even if it don't display also in address bar displayed. Now here, what is happening? Books are head for Java, Java to complete reference. This is myself through programming displayed. But here also displayed, no? But if it is cookies, will it display there? No. Suppose here you are not displaying, you are not writing code to display. Then you can hide. But this is you cannot stop. This is you cannot stop. Here client state information displayed in address bar. Here not displayed. If you write the code to display, it will display. Otherwise it won't display. But this is compulsory URL rating technique is that one. It will display. Next. It supports string type data only. It is also supports string type data only. It supports string type data only. It is also supports string type data only. It supports string type data only. It is also supports string type data only. Cookie constructor. How many parameters are there? 2 parameters. What is the first parameter? String type. Second parameter? String type. Even if you write number also, it will be treated as string only. String type data only possible. But here also, in address bar, it will be considered as string only. If you write numbers also considered as string. String type only supports. Year and year. Both the cases, same problem. Other than string, if you want, you have to go for third session tracking method. Now next. Here, size of the data is limited. Here also, size of the data is limited. Here size of the data is limited. Here also size of the data is limited. Here size of the data is limited. Here also size of the data is limited. Say for every website, number of cookies limited. That is browser will allocate some memory. That much only you can store. But here also size of the data is limited. In the address bar, size will be limit. Continuously you type in address bar, at last it is going to end. Somewhere it is going to end. Okay? What you are doing, 2 members? You only. Using mobile? Understood? See, here continuously if you type, somewhere it is going to end. Somewhere it is going to end. So, in address bar, also limit. Some browser supports 8 KB, some browser supports 16 KB like that. So, at last, they are also limited only. So, in this case also, size of the data limited. In this case also, size of the data is limited. Next. Cookies are secure or not? You are reading? Why not secure? In displayed and address bar. But cookies are secure? Sure. Cookies also we can see. Browser settings option is there. Cookie value, cookie name also we can see. Even if the person doesn't know how to use cookies, open YouTube, how to view cookies in Google Chrome, how to open cookies in Internet Explorer, one video will play. With that other people also can see. Even if the person doesn't know how to see cookies, we can see. Browser settings option we can open, we can see the cookies. Both are not secure. Okay, write this one. Cookies are not secure because stored in client system. URL rewriting also not secure. Because here client state information displayed in address bar. Both are not secure. Cookies also not secure. URL rating also not secure. Cookies are not secure because stored in client system. URL rating also not secure because your client state information displayed in address bar. Next. Here it is possible to set the time interval by using set max age method of cookie class. Here it is possible to set the time interval by using set max age method of cookie class. Here it is not possible to set the time interval. Here it is not possible to set the time interval. Here it is possible to set the time interval by using set max age method of cookie class. Here it is not possible to set the time interval. Here set max age method. Here it is not possible to set the time interval. With this method, we can set time interval. 1 day, 2 days also you can store. 1 month also you can store. But you have to write that exact time. Time in seconds format you have to write. So suppose here set max age 1 if you write. 1 second only it will store. If you want 1 hour, you have to write 60 into 60. 3600 you have to write. Okay. If you want 2 days, 2 into 24 into 60 into 60. Then it will store 2 days. It is going to be stored in hard disk, browser memory. That's what we can set time interval. But both are not secure. Suppose your application may contains passwords, PIN numbers, security code, MPIN. In that situation, cookies also not suitable. URL rewriting also not suitable. Then we have to go for next concept. Third one, HTTP sessions. Okay. Next. Is it clear? This is about session, cookies and URL rewriting. Cookies and URL rewriting. Next. HTTP sessions. Next one, HTTP sessions. Here, HTTP session is a piece of information stored at server side to maintain client state information. HTTP session is a piece of information stored at server side to maintain client state information. A cookie is a piece of information stored at client side to maintain client state information. Session is a piece of information stored at server side to maintain client state information. See, cookie client system stored, session server system stored. So cookie is going to be stored in client system. Session is going to be stored in server system. If server side, if it is stored, we cannot see. That's what it is secure, more secure. But if you want to maintain here, compulsory one more session tracking method required. With independently, this is not possible. Why? I'll explain. HTTP session is a piece of information stored at server side to maintain client state information. Same. Suppose this is server. These are clients. These are clients. Here, suppose first session tracking method. What is first session tracking method? Cookies. Where it is stored client state information? Browser. Suppose here you will select some shopping items. You will select some shopping items. Your items in your computer only stored. This person items in this person computer only stored. This person item in this person computer only stored. If it is cookie. But if you use HTTP session, all people items are stored in server. This person will select item. Items are stored here. This person will select. Items are stored here. This person will select. Items are stored here. But later, one more item this persons will select. But how it will understand these computer items are here, these computer items are here, these computer items are here. For that, one ID created. ID. Whenever you select this one, starting while giving introduction to session tracking, I given no, that is this session tracking method. Here, one ID comes. Here, ID maintained. Very first time what will happen here, whenever you log in, for this user, one ID created. That ID password to browser. Browser side also stored. Whenever this person logged in, one ID created. That ID password to browser. That ID maintained here. Here. ID. Like this. Now, suppose you selected 2 items here. With 2 items, this 102 number comes. 102 matched. Then it is going to be stored here. If you select the item here, with that item 101 comes. 101 matched. Item stored here. Like this, ID created in this case. ID. Section ID created. that ID password to client system, it is stored in client system. This is nothing but again cookie. Because storing ID purpose some memory required. That memory nothing but cookie variable. Otherwise, that ID you have to append to URL. Only server side if it is stored, how server will understand which client system item? See, for example, one small example. Suppose you'll go to one shopping mall. You'll go to one shopping mall. Already you have one bag. Already you have one bag. Will they allow bag inside? No. You'll enter into one shopping mall. You'll go to one shopping mall. Already you have one bag. With that bag, they'll not allow. That bag you have to keep with security. Okay. Now, then what you'll do? You'll enter into shopping mall. You'll purchase some item. You'll come back. Then, if you see there are so many same type of bags are there, how will recognize your bag? On token record. If the token number is not there, that bag you cannot identify. Security cannot identify. Okay. Same bags may appear. Then you cannot identify that is your bag or the other people's bag. And even they cannot identify. Okay. And even with the token only, both people recognize. They can recognize. Security can recognize this is yours only. Okay. Otherwise, security how will remember? How many bags? Hundreds of bags will be there. How can he remember? That is your bags, other people's bag. So that's what on token number we are using. Suppose one more shopping mall. In that shopping mall, they are allowing bag. Just assume they are allowing bag. They are allowing bag inside. Is it token number required? Your bag with you only. Why token? Like that. Cookie is nothing but they are allowing inside that type. Sessions nothing but they are not allowing. All bags with security only. Like that. But all bags with security means how they'll recognize token number. It is nothing but session ID here. All people items server system only. So that's what session ID required. But session ID, it is password to browser. It is stored in browser. Stored in browser means cookie. Appended to URL means again URL reading. But only HTTP session, it is not possible to implement. Okay. Now write this one. In this session tracking method, session ID created by web container in this session tracking method, session ID created by web container to recognize the client. In this session tracking method, session ID created by web container to recognize the client. In this session tracking method, session ID created by web container to recognize the client. So with session ID only, browser server can recognize whether it is AAA user or BBB user or which user, ABC user, XYZ user, like that. Okay. Next, to maintain session ID, to maintain session ID, there are two ways. First one, by using cookies. Second one, by using URL rewriting. To maintain session ID, there are two ways. First one, by using cookies. Second one, by using URL rewriting. So to maintain session ID, either cookies or URL rating required. This session tracking method can be implemented in two ways. First one, HTTP sessions with cookies. Second one, HTTP sessions with URL rewriting. This session tracking method can be implemented in two ways. First one, HTTP sessions with cookies. Second one, HTTP sessions with URL rewriting. First one, HTTP sessions with cookies. In this session tracking method, session ID created by web container. In this session tracking method, session ID created by web container, comma, passed to client system and stored in cookie variable. In the session tracking method, session ID created by web container, comma, passed to client system and stored in cookie variable. In the session tracking method, session ID created by web container, passed to client system and stored in cookie variable. So ID is stored in cookie variable, but client state information stored in server. Your data is secure. Only ID is stored in cookie variable. If other people, if they see ID also, nothing will happen. Is it over? Now, here what will happen, just you observe. Web server, web client, here. First, what will happen? See, very first request is called a login request. First, login request comes. What server will do? Constructs login response and creates session ID. Here, login response comes plus session ID also comes. Login response comes plus session ID comes. Login response plus session ID. Say from client system, login request comes. What this will do is constructs login response. and create session ID. Login response and session ID password to client system. What here it will do? Stores session ID. Session ID stored in browser. Second request plus session ID. Second request plus session ID. Second request and session ID comes here. Constructs second response. Just second response comes. Same style. Third request, fourth request, same style. That is, many requests will be happen. At last, logout request plus session ID. Here vanishes session ID and constructs login response. Sorry, logout response. Here logout response comes. Here vanishes session ID. Both sides session ID removed. Vanishes session ID. Then both sides the session is vanished. This is a process. How many times server will send session ID to client? How many times server will send session ID to client? One time or many times? One time or many times? See, the diagram also is there. How many times server will send session ID to client system? One time. You observe server to browser, how many times ID is there? One time only is there. That is login response plus session ID. How many times session ID passed to client to server? One time or many times? Many times. Second request onwards, again and again up to logout response, logout request. Okay? Now write this process. Is it over? See, first of all, login request comes. Login request processed, constructs login response and creates session ID. That ID passed to client system. Login response comes, ID comes. ID is stored in browser. That is cookie. Here session. Second request plus session ID comes. Second response constructed. Like that, third request plus session ID. Fourth request plus session ID. Logout request plus session ID. Session ID vanished here. Here vanished. Okay. Is it over? You observe what will happen here. It's one client. It's another client. It's another client. Many clients are there. Now, these clients are communicating with server. Suppose this person, he will enter username, password. He'll log in. That username, suppose AAA. That username comes. Password comes. It communicates with database. After checking in database, if username, password exists, for that username, some memory allocated. And that memory referred by username. For this, one ID also created. Example 101. That response passed to browser. Then ID also passed to browser. Then in browser computer 101 stored. In browser computer 101 stored. Same process, here username BBB and here also communicates with database. It will check given username password exists, some memory allocated, that user referred, Here 102 ID created, that ID passed to client. Here 102 stored. Same style 103. Triple C user 103. Here 103 stored. Okay. Now, suppose this person will select two items. The two items comes. With that items 102 also comes. 102 matched. Then server will understand these items are selected by triple B user. That's what it will add the items here. Suppose this person selected one item. Item comes. With that item 101 also comes. Then 101 matched. Then server will understand this item is selected by triple A user. It will store here. This person selected 5 items. 5 items comes, 103 comes. 103 matched. Then server will understand these items are selected by triple C user. Those items are stored here. Again, you'll select one more item. Item comes, 102 comes. Again, it will understand 102 matched. So browser server will understand it is selected by triple B. Later, he'll click on logout hyperlink. He'll click on logout hyperlink. Logout request comes, 103 comes. 103 matched. This total memory vanished. That response comes, here also 103 vanished. This is a process. But why 101, 102, 103 number? To recognize the client. Whose items? How it will understand? Security, how will understand the security guard? That is your bag. With he cannot remember your bag, other people bag. With token number only can understand. Same token number he'll give to you. If he gives same number, he'll give that bag. That's it. How can he recognize otherwise? Hundreds of people will keep. Then he can understand with your token number only. That's what. There one token he'll place, one token same number they'll give to you. With that token only can understand. 101 matched. He'll give that bag. Otherwise he doesn't know. He doesn't know that is your bag, other people bag. With token number, he'll confirm that is your bag. Like that. Okay. This session tracking method, how to implement? See. For implementing first session tracking method, so many methods are there. Methods. Noted? Get creation time. It returns creation time. Get ID, get last accessed. These are Is it over? So get creation time. When session ID created, that time in long format returns. If you want date and time format, you have to pass this long as an input to date class constructor as a parameter. Then you'll get a date and time. So when session ID created, that date and time we can retrieve here. Session ID, string format. Because already I told you, session ID not only numeric, alphanumeric. 40, 50 letters will be there. So alphabets will be there, numbers will be there, both mixed. That's what string format returns, ID. It is creation time return, it is ID return. It is last accessed. When your session is accessed last, that time also we can see. Set max inactive interval here. Here, in seconds format, you have to pass how much time period you want to maintain, that time. If you forget to log out also, automatically vanished. Security purpose. Okay. Get max inactive interval, how many seconds left, that information. It is get attribute for getting the value, set attribute, setting the value. Like a cookie class constructor, this set attribute method here. Get attribute, get value method in cookie class, that type. Remove attribute, that session variable can be removed. Invalidate, it is used to vanish session ID. Nothing but logout hyperlink, place this method you have to call. Logout. In that logout, when you click on logout hyperlink, this method you have to call. It is vanished. Okay. How to use these methods, I'll explain. See. File, new, dynamic web project. Suppose session 1. Finish. Right click, new, solid. Session 1. Class name, suppose demo solid. Next. Suppose this is demo. Okay. Next. Get type request coming. Here. Just I want to get session ID. First I want to display session ID. For getting session ID, just now I given methods, no? These methods you have to call. Session ID, get ID. But it's an interface. First is HTTP session reference required. That purpose, ready soon. This method creates session ID and returns HTTP session reference. Session object. This method creates session ID. This method creates session ID and returns session object. Whatever I given methods, with all methods, I'll show you the program. Get session method, if we call HTTP session reference comes. With that, we can call all other methods. Okay? Is it over? See. First, HTTP session reference required. Session object required. That is a method which, what is the method name? Get session. Get session. The method in which interface? HTTP SOLET request. What is the return type of that method? HTTP session. What we have to write? HTTP session HS equal to request dot get session. We got a session. With this HS, you can call these all methods. Okay. Now session ID. What is session ID return type? String. S equal to HS dot get ID. ID comes. When session created, I want to find out. That return type is long. Long L1. Next, what you write? HS dot get creation time. Get last access time also. HS dot get last access time. Okay. Now, get creation time, get ID, get last access time. This is time interval. You can change. This is getting time interval. Time interval, which format returns integer? Integer something I. HS dot get max inactive interval. How many seconds left? That information shows. Okay. Get attribute, set attribute, remove attribute. In next program you'll see. If we call this one invalidated, that means vanished. These all you observe. I'll print. For printing purpose, print writer required. Okay. Print writer. pw.println ID. Yes. Session ID I'll print. This S I'm printing. Okay. Session ID printed. While printing this session ID, I want to display like this. Session ID. Then ID displayed. Creation time. Creation time. I want to display. That is creation time is L1. But L1, if I write, output will be number comes. The number we have to convert into date and time format. For that, you can use like this. New date. L1. Otherwise, date D equal to new date. L1, that D you can pass. Date class constructor. Date class constructor, it will take long. That long, if I pass, date and time format comes. pw.println last access time. New date L2. When it is accessed last, that time. pw.println time interval. I. Time interval. That is seconds format. Seconds. So it shows session ID. It shows created time. It shows last accessed time. It shows time interval. By default, 30 minutes will be there. 30 minutes, nothing but 1800 seconds. It shows 1800 seconds. That notes I'll give. Control Shift O. Java.sql date, Java.util date, Java.util date required. Now, if I run this program, say right click, run as, run on server, save. These all not required, I'll remove. URL pattern I given demo. See here. Session ID. You observe alphanumeric 30-40 letters. Last accessed time 5:25:37. Creation time, last accessed time same. Time interval 1800 seconds. If I refresh, you observe creation time not changed, but last access time changed. Okay. This one, if you want to display with HTML format, you can add HTML code. HTML body BG color. Whenever you write HTML code, if you want to display next line, compulsory break required. Here, plus line break. Plus line break. Plus line break. Break. pw.println h1 close, body close, HTML close. Now see, right click, it is default session time interval. Okay, just time interval by default 1800. Say right click, run as, run on server, save. Here, demo. See, session ID, creation time, last accessor time, time interval. If I refresh, last access time changed. Okay. When this browser session created is 5:27:52. When last accessed is 5:28:3. Total time interval 1800 seconds by default. Now write this example. It is just methods I explained. Actual program tomorrow class will see. It is only just a methods I explained. Write the program. Actual session tracking method I didn't apply. That is tomorrow we'll see.